So, yeah. So Kalidor is going back to his lands. Sonia is going to go with you. She has that shard that Varna gave to her of the talisman that she somehow lifted off of it before the mercenaries took off. She has plans for that. She had made it known, I think, that she has a contact in Zamora that she needs to get that to at some point. Vincent left. Tor has 2 friends along for the ride. In order to keep those, you would continually have to cast animate dead, or yeah, animate. You'd have to animate them at least once every 24 hours. So come morning, you would have to cast it on them immediately again, and you'd have to figure out some way to lock them up. So I don't remember what you said you were going to do on that. Right now, they're still under your control. You've got them.
They're quite weak, so we may, you know, I'll figure something out if Tom arrives. If not, I've got a plan B.
All right, sounds good.
I'll just bop him on the head.
That was plan B. Glaive them.
Sorry. Glaive them. Put them on the end of your stick. Yeah, so you guys are gonna head out then, it sounds like. Heading west towards where the tracks were going.
Yes.
Tom, you stay here and look at your loot. Join us when you can.
Tom nods. He's kind of interested in catching up with Vincent for a second, because maybe something about him reminds him of somebody else that he knows that you've met in the past. Maybe he goes back and talks to Tarn and Falcon. He knows the general direction you guys are going. He's gonna follow along as he can, and so he tells you guys he'll catch up. So with that said, you all and Sonia would head west towards Aquilonia. If we go back to the map,
Go west, young man.
go west. This is where you're at currently. Let me make sure I'm on the right. Beep whip. Right there. You guys see that? That's where you're at currently. You're in a bit of a like a graded slope. Going up is going to be difficult. Going down is going to be difficult. You're kind of in the middle. If you continue to go west, you'll need to come down around here in order to get out of this area. Climbing up is not necessarily a good idea unless there's some sort of a path that you come across. But the tracks themselves, seems like a large force was moving through here. You remember, you're reminded of what the tracks that you saw at the mining camp look like, and you're able to pick up the trail from there. And you head out. It was morning whenever this all took place. We'll say about noon is when you guys head out because of the things that you guys did while you were in the cave. Tom had gotten some like fossils to sell. He's gonna fence them or something. Ani helped him out with that.
He told him he had to check with me first before he sold them.
Right. So but he has them. So he gathered all those up. And we'll see. We'll address that when they're back. So, as you guys head out, I can't remember. Did you guys have horseback? Were you on horseback? I cannot remember if you guys had horses or not. I believe you did.
I believe we did. That's we got them from the local miners.
Yep.
That's right. They did have some horses there that they lent you, and Kalidor actually lent you the horses originally, and so you were able to get enough horses to head out. That's why you're able to make
Did we leave them at the camp where we stayed?
Because
we left him at like near that entrance. Where,
near the entrance, like when you guys were going inside before you got to the ward. So you do have your horses around. So that's good because on foot, this is pretty treacherous as it is. It would take a lot longer. The distance between where you're at right now and Hoblock is about 3 days, which means that actually it's more like 4 or 5 days. But we're not gonna get hung up on that stuff. Like we're just gonna estimate that it's a while. Yeah. So I'll say that Calidor gave one of you the map. I can't remember if that handoff actually happened in RP or not, but we'll say that he gave you the map because he knows his way around. He knows where he's going. He's going back to his lands. He doesn't need it. So you have this map that you're able to look at. Yeah, so you guys are traveling along. Any discussions or anything that you guys want to have while you're traveling together?
Well, before we left the cave, I decided, since he was so excited to see them and wanted to know more about the world of the cleric, I gave Vincent the grubbies. They were low life, and I said, hey, they may go crazy in a few hours, but you're a resourceful man.
Yeah, that's great. That might actually help me lure out the hag. So thanks.
You're welcome. Like I said, if they get a little, hungry for you, do what you gotta do.
Yeah. And he like pulls like his dagger out. He does like the motion,
Yes.
He's like, I got this. Thanks. I appreciate it. He binds their hands and he kind of like puts them together and like on a rope, and he gets a good distance away from him. And he's like, kind of whips it. Yeah, now.
Before we go, does anybody have any vials or bottles or water pouches that are empty, something, so we can collect up some of this powder that may or may not be explosive, just in case?
I thought you did collect a vial of it.
I'd have one, but I mean...
Did you do that, or did Ani do that?
I did that.
Okay, that's right. I remember you had the empty bottle of potion, invisibility potion that...
Yeah.
At least
I also have an ancient wine bottle.
Yes.
That's empty, that I will also fill with explosive powder.
You filled the first one up with the powder that you scraped off of the wall before the water situation.
Yes.
While you were there. So that's dry. If you fill anything else up, it's going to be wet. It's going to be a little mucky. It's going to be mixed with stuff. But you still can do this. It's not liquid, but it's like a paste.
Yeah. May need some time to cure.
I have nothing, and I just realized I still have some jerky that's gone bad, so I'm going to get rid of that.
Jerky never goes bad.
Okay, then it's
good. If you have any dried goods or rations, you're fine.
Just dark glass still, but nothing else.
Now you were the one who took the white stone and placed it into your dark glass box, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And when you did that, it glue the color. Which color was that for you? Do you remember?
Pretty.
I'm legitimately asking because I don't remember what I gave each of you.
I'm 90% certain mine was purple.
Okay, sounds right.
So there's what, purple, blue?
Yep, purple,
orange,
blue, green, and yellow. Well, like
yellow.
A pale yellow.
Yellow.
I think
Pale yellow was going to be yours, yes. Makes sense. So we'll go with that. So yeah, it does glow yellow. And then it kind of fades a little bit, but you notice this as soon as you put it in, it does this. As you put it back into your pack and things. So something about this stone is special. It is reacting to it on some level.
This was the stone that we dug out
that caused the
whole water situation.
Which, when you were there, you saw that there was another hole that looked very similar to it, almost like there was two of them, and one was removed. And who's to say that that's not what caused all those dead bodies? Yeah. So, yeah. If there's nothing else, you guys head out.
Yes. You had said that going over these mountains might take longer, right? Like
Mhm. If you're on foot, it's going to be rough terrain, so your travel time is going to be a little bit different, but we're not really going to, I mean, it's not too big a deal unless you got something that you're trying to.
I was going to say, you know, like out loud, you know,
Yeah.
if we follow the paths of the soldiers, obviously we'll be able to get through easily. They're not going to take themselves through some extra difficult way to go with this many people, right? It's not worth, you know, the risk of taking some dangerous shortcut if it, you know, you lose half your people or they can't make it. So
Right.
I'll ask Sony, like, we can do that, or if you know of a way that we can cut some time off and try to close the gap between us. Think there's anything you can do?
So
Like if you
Sonia
explore these ones?
kind of looks at you and says, I don't travel much in these parts, but it's always best to stay well on the trail. And if there's a large group of people traveling together, they're going to take the path of least resistance. I feel like this is the best course of action that we have right now. If we go up further north, we're going to find rougher terrain and our horses won't be able to cross some of those areas. I'm not sure even what we might encounter if we go up there. It's higher elevation. We're going to be straining ourselves more. This is if we're trying to get to the other side of the mountain, going around it might be the best course of action. As she points up and you look at these sheer cliffs and they're very, very, you know, it would be very difficult for you to try to go climb over, and it would take a lot longer probably.
Okay.
So she looks at you and says, now are we going to, remind me, are we going to the mines or are we going to Aquilonia? What is our plan here? What did you have in mind?
Thought we wanted to catch up with the group and get back the.
Are we just tracking? I just need to know what to look for.
I think we're just tracking and formulating some sort of plan when we catch up with them.
Okay. All right. I just want to make
'Cause
sure
our
if we
goal
have a
is to get the
destination.
stone back, right, for the temple.
Well, eventually, that is the ultimate goal for me.
I mean,
But it's
that's
going
our
to take a
goal.
lot more than, I feel it's going to take a lot more than 4 of us. Or 5 of us. She looks back, looking for Tom. And says, to get this from a force this large, we'll have to be quite the tacticians.
Mhm. I just feel like if we're going to be getting more people to help, they need to be in the direction that they're already going. Otherwise, they're going to get too far away, possibly accomplish their goals before we have a chance to stop them.
Understood. So you wanted a shortcut in front of them so we could head them off. So that's a
Something
good
like
plan. I just feel like we won't be able to do what we're intending to if we were to take that course of action, and we would lose the horses for sure.
Yes.
So, and run the risk of not finding them, much less cutting them off.
Mhm.
And who's to say, Vincent, you reminded Vincent did tell you that most of the dwarven miners, everybody who was in that underground area, at least on that part of the mountain, they all joined forces with the promise of better pay and 3 square meals a day and not having to break their backs for a mine that was basically run dry. There was no more dark glass found in those areas. It looked like they were mining something else, but you know, none of you really know much about it. So yeah, so you guys just continue on.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I was just saying, off we go then, I think.
Okay. All right. So you guys track. Sonia's pretty good at it. She's pretty proficient. You guys help along the way. You maintain. It's kind of hard to miss, especially with some of the areas that are dampened from weather or what have you. You see the metallic or the metal jagged edges where armored footsteps would be. It's pretty prominent. You guys see this quite frequently. It's pretty easy to track in large numbers. You guys take a couple of nights on the road. You get to about here. You're about a little more than halfway around. You can maybe even see the end in the far distance through like a valley down here, the edge of the mountain, like where the mountains would end. But it's easily a couple of days walk away or horseback away. And you are kind of winding down. It's been a long day of travel. You're about to catch a break in the road where it's going to be smooth. And you're not going to be winding through a bunch of terrain. It's more of a beaten path that's pretty smooth and straight and softer than the rest of it. So your horses are kind of taking it easy. And you come across. You start to see like a bit of the numbers seem to kind of thin out, like they're more in a, not a single file, but it's almost like they've halved their numbers as far as like their steps. So it seems to be thinning out, so like they're kind of lining up in some way. And it goes down along this path. And as you're tracking, you see something in front of you. You see a couple of wagons and a lot of movement from a couple of the wagons in the front, and then it looks like one wagon is maybe broken down, and there's some people that are lying on the ground. Next to that broken down wagon. What do you do? How do you approach?
I could signal to the group to, stay quiet and move off of the path so we can try to get closer and get a look before we, reveal ourselves.
Okay.
If everyone's okay with that.
Indeed.
Yeah.
So you're trying to be stealthy about it, like an approach?
Yeah.
Why don't we do a group stealth check? So we'll just have you guys all roll stealth at an advantage.
Very light on my feet.
Oh my god.
Unlike Ani.
Yeah, he has advantage. We actually got it.
How do you roll a
disadvantage.
0? You have a negative
I have
1 to stealth. Jeez.
disadvantage.
You have a
That's
good
right.
roll.
Well,
Yep. So.
but I
that
told you it's
whopping
with advantage.
nat one,
So
baby. Yeah, but I have disadvantage, so it's a straight roll. So.
I'm
right.
stealthy because I'm behind him walking.
All
I'm
right.
just kind of ducked out.
I was like playing.
this like all these slats and slats of like. But that's what you hear. But what you see doesn't match up because it looks like you look like leather armor, right? Are you in plate now? What do you look like? I forget what kind of armor you're trying to rep.
It's
You just look like a human with clothes, or do you look like a human with
Chainmail.
armor?
It's chainmail, and then I got the trench coat over it.
Okay, so you like hear like leather and chain just like, and it's getting progressively loud. As you approach, it doesn't seem to bother anybody though. They seem to be preoccupied with their own issues, even though you have made this horrible stealth approach. It's just good enough to not pay them any mind. But as you approach, you do see that these don't. You thought maybe that they were maybe halflings, which is kind of weird because you don't see a lot of halflings around in Hoke. But then as you get closer, you start to perceive the pointy ears and the caps, and you see these red sashes, and you hear a bunch of gibberish that you're not quite familiar with. And as you approach, you notice that there are actually a bunch of goblins that are tending to their carriages. They do not seem to be bothered by your presence, and they don't seem to be hostile.
Huh.
You also notice that there are a few hobgoblins with them, which is not uncommon. Usually goblins kind of serve hobgoblins. That doesn't necessarily have to be the case always, but that's not unheard of. They run together sometimes.
Or we don't recognize what language they're speaking.
Does anybody speak goblin?
No.
Perfect.
Would I have any like knowledge of goblins from when I came from?
Yes.
Like, are they even still a thing?
You would actually probably be quite distrustful of goblins because of in the future, you know, they're not really magical in any way, nothing too special, but they make very good minions. So these are the types of characters that you know, the Antimagus would use to send out to. They're small, they're nimble, they're quick, they're deadly when pushed, and you know, with proper leadership, they make a pretty good foot soldier force. So,
All right. We'll make a wisdom roll
yeah,
to
absolutely.
determine whether or not I would have the, you know, the presence of mind to put prejudices aside from my time.
Sure, I'll give you advantage on that.
12.
12. Okay.
I think it's above a 10.
It's above a 10. Yeah, I would say maybe you know that this is not a typical case.
Okay. I have to ask Sonia, like, goblins normally aggressive?
They are, and they're quite keen senses too. They should have paid attention to us, more attention than they have right now. This looks like some sort of caravan. They may be on some sort of trade route or something. We might actually be able to barter with them for something if we find anything of use. It's been my experience that those that travel with caravans with goods are typically in the business of trade. They're probably going between Zamora and Aquilonia. They serve a purpose. They do sometimes they handle simple trade routes for the mercantiliate. Could be something going on here. You do see that one of the carriages is turned over. It's like one of the wheels fell off. It's kind of turned over, and seems to be like the food cart. So there's like potatoes and radishes and a lot of root vegetables that are like kind of scattered. You see a couple of the goblins making a big fuss over it, like they're scratching their heads, like trying to figure out how to fix this. It doesn't look like the carriages are of goblin make.
Should we offer them assistance?
I mean, I'm not sure. How many do you count?
How many do I count?
11.
Can you guys see the map? You guys are there, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I just want to make sure that everybody can see. So you see about 6 or 7 goblins, and you see about 3 hobgoblins. Well, the funny thing is that one of the hobgoblins, or one of the goblins and all of the hobgoblins seem to be in some sort of disarray. Maybe they're injured, they're lying down, or they're sitting down. They don't seem to be. They look like they're injured in some way. They've either got bandages on them or scrapes and bruises. They look a little worse for the wear.
Okay. We could, you know, see if they need help, and then maybe try to trade that help for information. Maybe they've seen the people that went through here. Maybe the people that were after
Maybe
the ones.
maybe they got attacked.
Yes, I could use a spell to help them unless they're evil of some sort.
Well, goblins tend to not be the best in these parts, but considering that they have carriages and that they're on a trade route here, my guess is that they're working for somebody, which means that they're probably more likely to be forthcoming with information. But do any of you speak Goblin? Because unless one of them speaks Common, my Goblin's a little rusty. I might be able to get some basic information, but
I mean, I don't speak Goblin, but I can try, you know, one of the 4 and see if they recognize it.
okay, that might work. What were you gonna say?
No Undercommon.
Undercommon,
Which is potential.
could be. You never know, because they may speak one of your languages. So
I also know
Abyssal.
I was trying to get details, but no. Let's put it in the chat, shall we?
Oh, it's all good. It's all good. Okay, what do you guys do?
I guess I'll kind of look at the others and be like, "Are any of you any good at, talking?"
Well, I could approach them in a holy sort of way, with the blessing of the goddess Arul with behind me.
Don't rely on your faith.
Yes.
Sounds good.
And if not, if you keep
I'll,
15 feet away from me, I could just lightning bolt them all. Who knows?
I'll
When in
walk
doubt,
up with
beat 'em out.
Tor.
Excellent.
I am going to put myself once they start approaching. I'm going to put myself here.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So I'll be within echo distance.
Okay. As you approach, you don't notice them take any interest in you, especially those two that you're approaching. They're worried about their cart.
Yes, you may not understand what I'm saying, but I, Tor de Shanks, cleric of the great winteress goddess Arul, can help with your medical needs. Do you understand the words coming from my face?
The two goblins next to you kind of look at each other and they look at you, and you just hear one kind of like make like a yip noise, like "Woodini, Woodini, Woodini, Woodini," and like it's looking around for like, "Hey, anybody gonna help here? What's going on?" Why don't you make an intimidation roll? Because your loud, thunderous voice and your presence. Okay. They seem to submit to you. That are not in any way aggressive towards you. And the one like, gives you like the sign to like wait. And you see it scurry around and try to find the like some others.
Yes, bring me your hurt. Your hurt. Limpy. Or stubby. What thing? My goblin. I should have worked on that more, but
Maybe the bloody one.
yes, the bloody. Bring forth the gushers.
Now you see this concern turn to horror as it sees you pantomime the stabbings and the sawing motions and the limb removals and the gushing of blood.
I'm gonna speak up.
Okay.
And just go through my other languages. It's Elvish, Draconic, and Thieves' Cant, and just
Okay.
Say no, we're here to help.
Now, is Thieves' Cant a spoken language? I thought that was a symbol.
Okay.
It's spoken language?
I thought it
Okay.
was only written to, but it's also a spoken language.
Okay. So, as this is happening, and Kel, you start to begin speaking your different languages. What are you saying in your different languages?
No, we're here to help. Don't be scared.
The one that ran off, he's kind of like, he's darting around. He's like trying to find some help. He's like, this guy's here to kill us. I don't know. But then, as you begin to speak Thieves' Cant, you see this one in the back kind of perk up and get up from his this stone that he's kind of like made as like a seating post, and he looked like he was like finishing some food. He kind of makes a gesture to the hobgoblin that's next to him, who is lying down, and the hobgoblin kind of gives him like a high sign. He comes up to the goblin that's kind of like scurrying around and looking, and he brings him to you, and this goblin speaks to you in Thieves' Cant back and says, what is the meaning of this? We've had our fair share of visitors for the day, as you can see. And he kind of gestures to like these. He seems very with it, very in charge from a Thieves' Cant point of view. Very, very well spoken.
Well, we are looking for a large group of people traveling along this road.
Oh, yeah.
Wondering
Well,
if you had seen anything. It seems that you've been in some trouble. Maybe we could help you out in exchange for information.
we might be able to come to an arrangement. What sort of people? And then he gets closer and he looks at you, and you see him like noticeably grasp the as he's eyeing you up and down. It seems like he notices something about you, and he grabs his weapon as if to prepare himself in case you try to attack.
Yeah, they're wearing the same stuff that we are,
Uh-huh.
but we're not with them. We need to infiltrate their ranks
Right.
to get something back that they stole.
Make a persuasion check.
I'm bad at these.
It's
Bad for-
it's
bad
just
not-
enough. It's just enough for him to kind of keep calm, and he says to you, I'm sorry. It's not that I don't trust you. Obviously, you speak the low road language, and I have a bit of trust for people who can do this. But we were passed by a group dressed similarly to you. They seem to have more armor, obviously, but I thought thought maybe you were with them. Some of them came. They broke one of our. They saw that we had nothing of value to them. Broke one of our carriages, as you see here, and roughed up some of our leadership, and passed on. Some of them went back they kind of splintered off and headed back to look like Zamora.
Okay.
Sonia at that point will kind of come next to you and say, "What are they saying?" Because remember, you guys all can't hear this. Only Cal can hear what's being spoken.
I'm just watching Homie with his hand on his blade.
Yeah, he kind of like loosens that, but he's still kind of like keeping his distance from you guys.
Well, just quickly, the group that we're going after, they saw them. They're the ones that did this to them. Part of them split off and went back to Zamora.
Split off and went to Zamora. Who ask if there was any kind of were there any leaders that broke off? Was there anything out of the ordinary about the group that went back to Zamora?
So out of
Says that.
character, we know that there was Gedrin was with them.
Yeah, Gedrin. I mean, that's her armory, so she was with them. There's the talisman. That's what they'd be carrying. Probably a few lieutenants. And
The talisman is like a box or something.
it's like this. From what Calidor told you and what Sonia would know, that you probably had some discussions about, is that there is a box that holds a giant stone that glows green, and it's encased in these rings of brass. And it has been told to have immense power that in the wrong hands could destroy things through varying forms of destruction: thunder, lightning, earthquake.
So as I turn back to the goblin, I'm gonna sit, in like I'm gonna be like non-threatening, like I'm just here to talk kind of way. Hopefully, to get him more trusting.
Mhm.
And they'll just I'll ask this group that split off. Did it have anything that appeared to be leadership? Was there a woman, perhaps better dressed than the rest of them?
Yes, there's only one woman. She and about 20 others went that direction, and he points that way, and it was back. It's the way towards Zamora.
Mhm.
The others in a caravan and a giant box they were carrying. They headed westward.
Good to know. Is there anything else that you noticed about the group?
There were a lot of dwarves with them that didn't seem to match. I don't know why they would have been there. Most of them seemed to be human. wasn't sure what the dwarves had to do with them. They look like miners, but they didn't pay much attention to us. They kind of just came in to ruffle our feathers and get us out of the way, get us off the road, and I'm surprised that they didn't just kill us outright, honestly. We were on a trade route mission to Aquilonia that the Mercantiliad is given us the commission for. There's a new group that seems to be working with Mercantiliad that we're trying to make an honest living.
Well, we have a healer if you need help. With
Yeah.
your...
Yes. We have there's Gorak over here, and then there are some of our, and then he points out to the three hobgoblins. Says they all suffered pretty nasty injuries in the fall and being thrown from the carriage.
Okay, well, we have a healer. This one is very strong. Can probably help, get your wagon put back together.
No. Oh, you would help us. That would be very welcomed. I would appreciate it. We were just going to wait for more of our brethren who are on the way to help us out. No one really stops to help goblins, and
well, fair is fair, isn't it?
it is. In fact, we do have some wares that we were planning on selling in Aquilonia. If you'd like to take a look, we can do a trade maybe.
I could. Let's get you guys back in shape, and then we'll
Yes.
go through
Oh, thank you.
and I'll relay that to the rest of the group.
So yeah. So
good.
go ahead.
Good. Then I bring you gushers here. Gather round.
I'm just gonna point out to the ones where it's those ones.
Oh,
There.
okay.
as the guy that you were speaking to, he kind of like tells the others to bring the injured ones to them, and as they're bringing them, Tor's doing his like like movements and nonsense that looks like he's ready for surgery, and there's just terror in their eyes that they don't know what to make about this, and but the guy in charge is telling them to do this. So as they
are for sternum cutting.
yeah, they think that they're gonna die. So you go over there and you put your hands on them, do your medicine. I'm not gonna make you burn any spells or anything like that. So, but yeah, you do your thing. You do your clerical work, mass healing word. We'll say that
I'd pump some lay on hands.
Okay, yeah. So together,
into
you
one
guys
just to help out.
Wonder Twins this into existence, and they all make a pretty good recovery very, very quickly. They give a bow, they kind of thank you, and they with like a little bit of an odd look in their eye. They're like, they're not sure why you would help them. No one does this. They're not the type to get help from anyone outside of their own. And they have a little bit of a bewilderment about it. The two goblins that were there, they begin to go back to work on the carriage, and one of the hobgoblins hops up to try to go help them out. They try to figure out how to put the wheel back together and put it on there, because it looks like it just fell off and looked like somebody just kind of bumped it, knocked it off, hit it with a hammer, like a war hammer or something.
I would go over and help lift the carriage into like a upright state, I guess.
You're like a jack.
Yeah.
Cool. So they're very appreciative of this, and they begin to mend things together. You hear them all arguing back and forth about which direction the wheel goes on. And the goblin comes to you, Cal, and says, he bows to both of you for healing and helping, and then he goes to Cal and he says, my name is Gorak, and I am in charge here. Anything that you see on the far cart there, is fair game. I ask that you please don't take it all, but leave us something to make a little bit of coin for in Aquilonia. But there's many trinkets. We have some bottles with questionable liquids that we were given. We've never tested them. We were told that they have healing properties. We're not sure what they are, but we have about 3 of those. There's a lot of jewelry. Maybe you have a significant other you'd like to and he looks at Sonia, and Sonia just like, what's going on? Why is this guy looking at me like that? And basically kind of like lets you have carte blanche on the merchant cart.
I'll shake his hand and thank you.
No, thank you. But to the rest of you, it's all like,
shiny! Detect magic.
oh, what's that?
I'm gonna cast detect magic.
Detect magic? Okay.
Is there anything magical?
You are picking up something that is not divine in those bottles. There's something about them that is magical. We would need to do further investigation to figure out what they are.
The bottles that are on the merchant cart?
Yep.
I'll just look at Kel and be like, the bottles potentially potions or something. There's a magical essence about them.
I see. So it's just like those potions and then like a bunch of jewelry and stuff.
Yeah, it's like jewelry. There's some cloaks. There's some clothing type things. There's like bracers. Nothing that was gonna help. Like there's no shields or weapons. There's some nice finery there though. Who's looking at the cart? Like who's looking for stuff to have? You're getting this for free.
Yeah,
I'm just sort of browsing. So.
Okay. Anybody who's browsing, do a perception check.
Hey.
Okay.
Jeepers crossed.
Okay. Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
So I would say, Kel, you definitely, as you're perusing, you're looking, Ani told you that the potion bottles there's something going on with them. They have some sort of magical essence that's coming off of them. You're not sure what. As you look at them, they have a symbol on them that you're familiar. It's something from your childhood. You're not sure what it is, but and then there's some a monogram on there that says WS on it. It's almost like a stamp, like a maker's mark, kind of. And it looks like it's replicated, so not sure what that is, but it's in the glass. And as you're perusing things, you notice that there is a cloak that has a brooch on it. A brooch that resembles something that you remember from. You remember it from your vision, the one that you all shared, and it was something that was on the clothing that the guy who was called Frederick in the dream. You recognize this symbol. It's the very same.
Tom would be freaking out right now.
Thanks for being here, Tom.
Well, so there was the brooch, there was the cloak. You said were there one other
The
thing
brooch
that
is
had the
on the
symbol?
cloak, like it's like it was
Okay.
part of the cloak.
All right, so there's
Looks like it was like a
second
second hand somebody.
And you said there was something that had WS on it.
So the bottles all have WS on it, like a maker's mark on the bottles.
Okay, and then there was something else that had a symbol that I recognized. What was it?
The bottles as well. So it's almost like the logo of the bottles of like what they are. Like whoever made them like put a label on it, and this is how you know what it is. You don't know what it is, but you recognize the symbol from something from your youth, maybe. You can't remember what it was exactly. You know that it was some sort of a tonic that was drunk pretty regularly. And then the maker's mark on there is like who was responsible for making this. It's like a batch number kind of thing.
Okay.
They seem pretty old as it is.
I will take. How many bottles are there? Like total?
So we'll say that there's 6 total bottles, and then there is a bunch of other jewelry and stuff. So like if you take the cloak with the brooch or whatever, that's fine. Like it's not a big deal. But like that's what you see, yeah.
Yeah, I'll take the cloak with the brooch.
Okay.
And one of the bottles for myself.
Okay.
I was really looking for a chalice with a palace, but there's no such luck.
In fact, there is a chalice, but there is no palace.
No, it's the chalice at the palace that holds the brew that is true.
Oh. As you interpret this, Kel.
No idea what you said.
As you take the brooch, the cloak with the brooch on it, you see one of the goblins kind of get a little possessive about it, like, whoa, no, I don't want, not this one. And the other one's like, no, the one that gave you guys permission, he's like, kind of giving the eyes, like, let it go. And he seems to be very adamant about keeping it, but he eventually relinquishes it and hands it over to you. He says, I'm sorry, this was part of a trade of, we encountered someone on the road, and they did some trading with us, and they traded this for that. They said that they didn't want it anymore, that they didn't want to be reminded of something called the silver lining.
Silver lining?
Not sure what he meant by that, but something in Zamora that he wasn't wanting to be reminded of in his past.
What did this guy look like?
I mean, honestly, you all look the same to me over a certain height, so I kind of, our eyesight's not really great during the day, so
Well,
face kind of, it all kind of just blurs together at some point.
I'll just go ahead and I'll give the goblin that was having an issue, I'll just give him like 5 gold.
Oh, shiny, and he like runs off, and like he has like his money, and he runs off. He doesn't care anymore. And the other ones kind of like run after him, like like little kids that their friend just got a piece of candy or something.
Ooh, piece of candy.
Piece of candy.
They kind of act like children all of a sudden, instead of these terrible miniature warriors.
Well, I guess I'm good. I guess I'll just go and start helping with whatever I can.
Actually, during that time, Ani had been sufficient enough to help them put things together. All the carriages seem to be up and running. One of the other goblins on the side brings, looks like he was trying to look for a water source to let the horses drink, and brings the horses to the carriages. They hook them back up, and then they kind of motion to be like they're on their way. They say thank you and tip their hat.
All right, and then I guess I'll just go confer with my teammates. Like, do we want to go after Gedrin, or do we want to go after the thing that I keep forgetting the name of?
The talisman.
Talisman.
Sonia speaks up and says, I have to get this, and she kind of grabs her pouch where she had placed that shard of whatever Varna gave her. I need to get this to a contact in Zamora. It seems like Gedrin is there. I feel like that's where we need to go. If you guys want to split up, I can go after Gedrin and Zamora. I know my way around there fairly well. We might cover more ground that way. It's up to you guys whether you want to come with me or not.
She would have taken the talisman with her, or left it in the box?
No, I highly doubt that it left the box. So if they're taking the talisman,
I mean, are we
west.
going after Gedrin or the talisman? What is it? What is true to us?
Right. Well,
I think what we want is the talisman.
I thought you were after. A person. Didn't you say that there was somebody you were after? I didn't recognize them with your description. Someone
The
who,
druid lady,
someone with some pages or something.
whose name I also don't remember.
Sciofra.
Oh, Skiofra.
Sciofra. It's been a
Uh,
while.
Young Sciofra. I know, it's been a long time. I'm sorry, guys.
Yes, Sciofra.
keep taking these side missions.
We were we were chasing after this because, as far as we know, they took Sciofra with them. And we-
Yes, they ran off with Sciofra. Now, he did tell you that the only female he saw was that there was only one that went that way. But he wasn't sure. Again, he said you all kind of look the same at a certain height.
Yeah. Yes, Samora, then maybe Skillful will be there, and we can do what we need to do, then get back to the talisman if we need to strip Goldface of her powers.
Golden Face.
Here's the problem, though. We saw what the talisman did to Havelock.
This is true.
We can't have that happening to other cities around here. Because that'll affect where we're from.
Will it? Because it has already happened? Have we technically already been here? Is this just the past repeating itself as it should have been?
No, because the future is not set.
Says you, phase boy.
I think I would know as the only one who's done this before.
Then what do we do?
If only you had a book that you could read. Heck, well.
I mean,
Do you have the book?
check the book has missing pages. Okay, I check the book, see if it's in the missing pages or not.
The only things that are missing from the book that you know of is the location of your target and where that is where they're hidden, where they've been placed.
Okay.
Do you look at the book?
Yes.
Okay. I like how you side-eyed that. Okay, so you open the book, you look in the book, and you're kind of like flipping through, trying to find where exactly you are in the time history period. You see a note there about Havelock. Being destroyed, and then like the efforts to rebuild it. You find a page about how a mass of dwarven miners became soldiers in an army unknown, and they kind of like wreaked havoc across the countryside over near Aquilonia. And then you see that there is references made to some sort of green orb being used by an army in battles. And then it kind of just stops. That's where like some of the pages kind of like the story kind of like blurs in. It doesn't seem to be as important, but it does seem like these things happen. You do see a note about how Dylan's forest is attacked, and it led to the destruction of why the ruins may have been the way that you guys found them in the future.
I mean, everything that's in this book is what happens if things continue the way they were supposed to. If things continue the way they're supposed to, a lot of people are going to die because they have, the amulet. So we can either just look for Sciofra, hopefully find her, and then she won't end up trapped in that other, pocket dimension for however long. and she may be able to help. Or we can try to get, their source of power back from them so they can't do all those things. And maybe we find scope for while we're doing that. Maybe she can even help.
Sonia, how urgent is your task?
I listen, Gedra needs to die. Okay? I don't care about the rest of this. The talisman is secondary for me. It needs to be put back where it belongs, but it's not going to happen with 4 or 5 of us. We're going to need an army to go up against that. Now, if we take Gedra out, the army will disperse. We could pick up the pieces and find it that way. Get her to talk, get her to, put her under some duress, send out some ravens, have them meet us somewhere. Meanwhile, I slit her throat.
Could we gather any assistance in Zamora?
I guess you could call it that. I have some contacts in Zamora. I'm not gonna like it, but somebody owes me a favor.
It sounds like a decent trade, because I think the talisman is powerful, and if we remove that weapon of power from Goldilocks, then we could easier take her down, but at the same time, if she's separate from her power, and if you could get people, and that might give Tom enough time to catch up with us.
We were heading back that way as well. Might run into him on the way.
True.
I'm gonna, what do I know about Tom? Like,
As far as, like your travels with him, that's really all you know. You don't know anything about him in like the future tense, really.
but like, what do I know about him as like, what his,
you are familiar.
How he makes his well-being.
You are familiar with his last name in your timeline. He does remind you of somebody that you have seen in the Resistance. And you feel like there's something important about his lineage. Whether it's his child, it's him, you're not sure. It wasn't something that was, important then. That you can't necessarily piece things together from that. You just know that he has a part to play here and that he's important.
But as far as I know, can he read Thieves' Cant?
Yes, you do know that he can read Thieves' Cant.
Okay, so just in case
Yes.
we don't end up coming across him, or we end up having to split off before he can find us,
Gotcha.
I'm going to, one of these rocks that's nearby. After I'm assuming the goblins already left.
Yeah, the goblins have kind of taken off. There's some boulders around.
I'm gonna.
It seems like
Just
this would be a good place to do like a camp. This would be a place where people would camp.
I will scratch into a rock or like a piece of wood or something and leave it somewhere. Wouldn't be too difficult to come across. Just to give them a message. Tom,
Okay.
turn around, Zamora, and then just put that somewhere visible.
Okay.
In Thieves' Cant. So some random person isn't going to be like, oh, who's this?
Right. Okay. So is the plan to leave this message, turn around, and kind of head back towards Zamora? Is that what I'm hearing? Okay.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Seems like we could go back, get help from Sonia, hopefully take out Gendron, which will make it easier to get Talisman back. Maybe.
That seems to be what Sonia kind of thinks. She kind of feels like if Gedron's out of the picture, then the army kind of doesn't exist because now there's nobody to sign the paycheck. You know what I mean?
Yeah. At the very least, I'll be lacking leadership.
Right.
And I guess maybe she did take Scofer with her. Maybe she wanted to question her someplace she was more comfortable heading.
Yeah, I mean, you do find it kind of odd that that they would, come here to this point and then break off into two groups, and the leader of the group would go back to, about face and go to another city. Seems kind of weird.
Really should have insight checked him.
Who?
The goblin.
Oh, the goblin. Oh, that was talking to you.
He didn't say that anything was taken from them, right?
I mean, not more than like maybe some food, some items. Like maybe somebody was hungry. It seemed like they kind of just got bullied and they got tossed on the side of the road. So, like they weren't even worth the trouble of killing, and they didn't have much in the way of items of value that they would have cared about.
Do we can we find like a set of tracks that seems to have gone another direction from the rest of the group?
Yes, you do see that. As you move forward, it seems that the tracks kind of check out. There's a definite two split off groups. One kind of about faces and turns, and there's horse tracks and some foot soldiers.
A single horse?
There's like three horse tracks, but you're not 100% sure if they're all together. There's definitely horse tracks that go that way, and along with the same footprints are heading that direction.
Well, at the very least, they were telling the truth that a group split off and went towards. As far as I know, is that direction toward Zamora?
Yeah. I mean, like, and you would be familiar with this area. I mean, Zamora's always been Zamora. You know where you're at as far as the hills are. You've seen the maps. That's the direction, general direction.
Well, at the very least, we're being honest that a group of them split off towards Zamora. And if Zamora is where Gedrin, rules from, then there's got to be at least something to be gained, even if she's not there. And Sonia has business there anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, it seems smarter to keep us all together, and
Okay. So, you guys are going to go to Zamora then, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, you guys make your way towards Zamora. It is a good... How far are we looking? 1, 2, 3. It's about a good 2-3 day journey, because it's almost the exact distance that you just came from.
Okay.
From where you were from the entry point to the...
is it more and more south?
It's more south. Yeah, here, let me put you guys on the map. Oop. Zamora's down here.
Oh wow, we're like...
You guys are over here.
Like here.
Yeah, you're in that general direction. So right
So we're
here.
just straight backtracking.
So you're literally going south and back east to Zamora.
Classic.
So you go through the hills, you go through, all this kind of area. You guys probably have to take there's a couple days here. So the first night, not a big deal. You guys are just like on the move. You guys head the direction of Zamora.
Century Road up.
You know that the road is coming up right about here. And right about here, like, you've got about a day left of journey. You guys decide to take probably
Siesta.
camp for the night, for that evening, so you can have that one last day push. And when you do, put you over here in this campsite. We're just gonna use this for the campsite. So
This looks familiar.
yeah, Sonia, she's got her tent. She kind of says, good night. You guys have been pretty beat for the day. Sonia goes and retires to her tent down here. Rest of you guys kind of situate yourselves. You're setting your perimeter up. You probably have your Ani's either going to be keeping watch all night, or if you guys want to keep company or whatever, you can't sleep, whatever, it's up to you. But when you go ahead.
Honestly, I want to take a small pinch of that powder, and just throw it in the fire and see what happens.
Of what you got in the thing. Okay. So you throw that little bit of like fine powder into the fire, and this big plume of smoke, like kind of just like poof, like much greater than you would have expected. It's not quite explosive like you thought would make that kind of a plume of smoke, but it definitely creates a large amount of smoke, much larger than you were expecting. And it has a smell. It turns from that sulfury smell to like kind of like a sweet, the air almost right after it rains. And as you breathe it in, you kind of feel a little bit lightheaded.
Getting high for your last evening.
I mean, a little bit, but
I'm gonna look at the bottle like, all right, let's cork that, put that back away.
And as you say that, you notice that your voice is really high. Oh, okay, I'm gonna cork that. Kind of like helium.
Weird look.
Kind of like sounds really weird, a little crazy.
Well, I guess I'll take the bottle of like the damp stuff
Uh-huh.
and like see if I can find like a flat rock, like pour it out on, and like
Dry it out.
Do
Dry
a
it
line
out.
of the damp stuff.
Yeah, there you go. Just put it in
He's
my
doing
food.
some mud over there. I've seen his type.
Let's try it out.
Snorting lines of mud.
Got a little clay on your mustache.
Wait. Yeah, what?
All right, so you're drying your powder out for placement back in the bottle later once it's dried out. Tor, what are you doing? Are you going straight to bed? Are you having a routine?
I'm just going to, what's the weather like?
It's been overcast all day. Not necessarily, not too hot, not too cold. Very, very moderate temperatures. It's not bad. It's actually kind of a nice night. You can't quite see the stars. There's quite a bit of overcast. Occasionally you see like, a waning gibbous kind of.
I'm just going to make a spot by the fire here and just stare at the clouds until I drift off, and waiting for the cold, chilling embrace of my goddess as I drift off and sleep.
Yes. This gentle breeze comes over you. You feel these arms just wrap around you. Like a big hug. Oh, Tor. Nice sleep.
Roll.
That was really good. So you drift off to sleep very nicely. Ani, you're kind of just in standby mode, yeah?
Yep. Sentry mode, resting, but able to keep watch.
Kel, do you go to sleep yet, or do you, what's your evening?
I'm gonna take a little bit of the damp stuff and I'm gonna throw that in the fire and see if that even burns.
As you throw the damp stuff into there, you don't see any smoke, obviously, because it's damp, and so it kind of like it kind of looks like it's acid, like eating the wood, the embers that you threw it onto, but you notice that it's more like it's cooking it, and so it's just kind of like bubbling up, and then it turns black and it like chars, and then like this. What was your color? What did we say your color was?
Who is blue or not blue? It was blue or green. I
Okay,
think.
we'll say yours is blue. So I'm sorry, green. We'll say yours is green. So it like bubbles and it kind of like makes like a little bit of a spark, that color. So of your color, but no smoke. It seems like it's still a little too damp to do the plume. You don't smell that that sweet shift in the air.
Alright,
You smell
I
a
guess.
little bit burnt.
Just out of morbid curiosity, I'm gonna cast Detect Magic.
Okay.
And I just want to see if there's anything coming off of his vials or that paste or whatever.
Sure. So you do detect magic, and you do not notice any magical essence coming off of anything. Nothing from the fire, nothing from him, nothing from his bottle.
Okay.
I guess I'll just rely on Ani being able to keep watch and go to sleep.
Okay. Do you sleep by the fire? Do you go get a tent? What do you put your tent up? What do you do?
Are there any trees nearby?
Yeah, there's probably some trees a little bit further out. Close enough to the fire though to keep you warm.
Kind of, yeah. I'll sleep leaned up against a tree.
Okay.
Maybe cover myself with something that make me stand out a little bit less.
Okay, kind of camouflage yourself a little bit, maybe cover yourself.
Yeah.
Okay. So you drift off to sleep as well. Everybody roll me a perception check.
Sleep perception, huh? 6.
Just to see if you hear things.
Wow.
Okay.
So good.
That was
Keep a
good.
watch, guys. Oh, look at that star up there.
Watching something is not what I'm supposed to be.
Well then,
Hmm.
this is gonna go differently.
Those goddamn goblins go back to steal my shit.
So,
You're about to get crit the fuck out of you.
Ani and Kel, you're both preoccupied with either sleep or your combat alert mode, whatever your guard mode is or whatever. Tor, though, you begin to hear a voice that sounds familiar to you, and it's coming from your backpack, and it sounds like somebody's recounting their day, like they're writing a journal entry.
A speaking stone from my other life. Oh, that was the multiverse.
I forgot about that.
I dig through the bag and like, what the heck?
As you pull it out, you start to hear just this voice just rambling on about the day. It has been 14 days since I last spoke to you. I don't know why I even try anymore. I guess I just want to hear the sound of my own voice, because I want to know that I am not alone.
Hello?
I am Rectavio.
Bag, are you speaking to me?
I am... Hello?
Hello?
Who is this?
Who is this? You're in my bag.
I am Rectavio. I'm Rectavio.
No, Rictavio died
No.
quite some time ago.
You're not 100% wrong, but how are you hearing me? Have you put the ring on?
No, you're in my bag.
put the
I'm
ring
not
on?
quite sure. What ring?
What are you doing in your, like, what do you do? Do you open your bag or?
I've looked through the bag. I'm trying to find the
So-
source of the chatting.
So as you're moving around the bag, it's kind of, and you're moving your hand around your bag, and you notice that it's actually the box that you have that's actually now glowing, the yellow box. It's acting as a speaker, and he's speaking from it. But he's not very loud, but it's loud enough for you to pick it up.
Okay, so I don't know what ring you're talking about. You're coming from my special box.
The ring, the gentleman, Kel. He had the ring, I'm assuming you picked it up. Is he? Oh, well, no, he wouldn't be dead. That would mean that he would be in the ring.
No, Kel is sleeping. And
I thought I had lost contact with you all. There was a
Did you?
few days back.
I mean, Kel has
well,
always been weird acting, but he
That's-
hasn't been acting as weird as
My-
if he's talking to someone in his head.
My mistake. Yes, almost like as if he's speaking to a god or something. Maybe, perhaps.
I wouldn't put it there.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I did not mean to offend. I'm Octavio. Yes, I had the ring, and when I passed on, I transmuted my consciousness into the ring. Whoever puts the ring on, obviously Kel did. And last thing I remember is there was a fight. There was a creature that was invisible. You killed it. Someone named Skilfra had making squirrel noises. A girl making squirrel noises. I summoned the conversation after you went through a portal of some sort. Muddied in my mind, and then you left that space, and I was not able to speak anymore. I am Octavio.
Yes, well, you've described the past few... What happened a few weeks ago. We've been traveling since then.
Sounds about right. 14 days, 7 hours, 14 minutes, 36 seconds. Yes. Well, how are you able to hear me?
I don't know. You're in this magic glowing box that expands as I put things inside of it, to a point.
Whoa. This goes, I'm so sorry. There's so many jokes.
Sometimes I put my lunchbox in there
Where is
in the mornings.
Yeah, I hope you're hungry, because lunch is ready.
Twitch.tv/lunchbox.
I must ask, is Kel alive?
He's alive. He's apparently sleeping soundly over by the
good,
fire.
Good. Can you do me a favor? Can you just walk over there and see if he has a ring made of brass with a circle on top? There will be a kind of a purple domed gem with a split down the middle. Can you see if he's wearing that?
Yes, both moments. So
Should be on the.
I
don't know if
creep
he's right
over there, and he's kind of tilted, so I just kind of like look. I end up sort of straddling him with just like tail barely almost touching his face, and
Perfect.
trying to get down close to see his fingers, and
Now's the time
put
to
the box and go.
make a perception check.
Yes.
Kel. As he's kind of rooting around near you. Oh boy. Well, okay. Tor's just gonna have his way with you.
He has
Do
a
you-
ring, and I'm surprised he hasn't woken up. Apparently,
well,
he's got
does
some
he-
heavy dust in him.
Do you have the ring on? Did you keep it on?
Yeah.
Okay. I just making sure. I wasn't sure. It was magical, so it did come through with you. Just his consciousness did not seem to be communicating with you. So, now, I'm gonna go ahead and say that you got advantage on that perception, because here's what happens: as Tor gets closer to you, the voice gets louder. It's like the voice is becoming one with you, and you hear him inside of your head. And so you hear him having this one-way conversation with Tor, with someone else. And so like you're not sure if you're dreaming or not, but you're definitely aware of it.
So I like bolt up, right? Like sit
Yep.
up real quick. Go, Octavio, and then ass.
Bam, right in the ass. Right
Huh.
in that dragonborn butt.
Nose in butthole.
Nose and butthole.
Does Tor wear clothes?
Fragrant. Well, I mean,
nicked my
tunic.
tail
Sorry, I guess yeah, it's his tail.
Bonk.
Because in my world, dragonborns
See, I'm
have
just gonna
tails.
smear it back.
But he's got that nice.
You know how the
fresh-
inner thigh can smell sometimes? It's a tail. It's been a long day of travel.
really seals in the flavor.
Little dust, a little sweat down there. I mean,
I've been fighting crime all day.
streaking up.
Rubber suit.
In a rubber suit. Okay, let's get it back on track. Let's go. All right. Okay. So, yeah. So you wake up to this scene. Tor's mumbling something to himself about a ring, and you hear Rictavio's voice. You wake up. You say, "Rictavio!" You get a face full of Dragonborn ass, and then that's how you guys wake up, or that's how you wake up.
Yeah. Eh.
You say, "I hear him." Kel, can you hear me? This is Rictavio.
Yes.
Who is the man that I was? Was that the Dragonborn fellow that was that was traveling with you?
Yeah.
Do I still hear him?
Yes, you do.
Yeah, that's Tor. Speaking Tor, can you get off of me, please?
I'm
Oh,
sorry. I was
man,
looking for the
he's-
ring.
He's
Apparently,
very
you've got
nice.
it.
With
All
wait,
right.
wait. I can
You
hear
should
you.
lay off that dust, man.
Of course I can. It's been so long. I'm so happy. I'm so excited. I'm so glad that I can communicate. I don't know what happened. Something must have gone wrong with the spell through the teleportation. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what happened.
I just
Unfamiliar.
assumed that your spirit was like, attached to the specific timeline, and
Oh,
you would
well.
come back when we came back.
That would make some sense actually. I'm gonna have to ponder that as to why I'm here. Why would you not respond to me previously? It's been a long time. I was very lonely. I'm
Because
Rictavio.
I couldn't hear you.
You couldn't hear me at all. So I was just speaking to myself. All of the I didn't know what was going on. There was nothing that I could listen to. There was no music. Unlife is not unlike actual life, that it is meaningless without the music.
Oh, okay. So I'm used to talking to Rictavio in my head. So after yelling Rictavio the first time, this has all been in my head.
Right.
Can Tor hear me?
Yes.
Hmm.
So you're not speaking with your mouth. You're speaking to Rictavio, but Tor, you noticed this, that you were hearing his thoughts in your head.
I kind of look at Tor. Do I notice that he notices?
I don't
Sort
know.
of looking at the box and up at him and the box and him, then box.
Say, can you hear me?
Apparently, you had someone in your head for a bit and didn't mention it to us.
I thought I did.
Hmm.
But
Hmm.
yeah.
Yes, I have a name. This is Rictavio.
Yeah.
I'm
I remember him.
I'm Rictavio. You remember me?
He's the guy. In
I
the
know it
church.
has been so long. It has been so many days.
He's the one he died. He got killed by the.
I did.
I
And then
did.
you said that wonderful prayer. And you said, what was it that you said to me? You said that the last things I remember hearing before I went whoop into the ring was something like hasta la vista, baby. I
Yeah.
think. Yes, that was beautiful. Beautiful. Not unlike some of the things that I heard Tor say in his dreams about who's Aurora?
Oh, let me tell you about who our rule is.
Oh, please do.
She
I'm so
is by
lovely.
far the most glorious, beautiful goddess of all time.
Oh,
And if I don't say that, she will wick me down to nothing but a mere melted, frozen stub of a dragonborn candle.
if I had a body to feel, I would feel so many things right now.
That is our rule, my
Wonderful.
friend Rictavio.
Wonderful. We must find a way to get me back into a body so I may worship at their feet.
She's brisk, baby.
I do love me a raspberry iced tea.
So, Rictavio,
Hey,
now
Rictavio.
that we're meeting you for the second time, sup?
I mean, he's back.
Well, I tell you, not a whole lot. I've been very bored, very bored. What's up with you? How
And
have
we
you
fill him
been?
in the past 14 days.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Oh, so much. you spend all night talking to Octavio, telling him all the things that have gone on, everything from jumping through the portal, the missing pages with Skilfra, the adventures with Calidor and Sonia and Prince Tarn, and the dream sequence that you had, heading over to try to locate the Dwarven army to recruit them, and finding all the things that you did, Vincent, the encounter with that, and then up to right now, and the sun starts to come up as you've done this, and you, despite having spoke to this entity all evening, you still feel like you got a full night's rest. It's just like this unburdening of what was going on between all of you. Meanwhile, Ani, you're just over there at peace with your sensory underload that's just been circling around looking for wolves and shit. And you're just kind of hanging out. Yeah, and as you come out of that, you notice that Tor and Keller kind of just like hanging out with each other, and they're kind of talking to themselves, but they're not talking to them like each other. It's very odd.
Mm-hmm. Just kind of step on over. What's up?
Hey, Octavio's back.
I'm Octavio.
See? Talking box. Apparently talking head. Or ring in Kale's head. I'm just here with the box.
I'm Octavio. You see the box, like, so the
That's
box
the
like lights up like an Alexa
I
as it's speaking.
mean, I've seen weirder, I guess.
What have you seen?
I mean, you saw me before the illusion, so a lot of
Yeah.
that.
But like,
Oh yes, the statue man. I haven't had an opportunity to introduce myself. I've only seen your work from afar for approximately like 2 days.
I guess that was only like 2 days before
Yeah, it's not long at
we
all.
disappeared.
Yeah, you guys
we need to
vanished.
talk, by the way. We need to talk about what you did before we found you.
That's these are lots of good questions.
We never really did it. We just kind of got caught up in doing things.
I wish I could tell you.
Hmm.
It's a nice
Hmm.
nice little blank spot there before you turned me back on.
Maybe we can figure out a way to get it back. Maybe you have information we could use.
Maybe answers could come in the form of someone in I don't know, a CD back alley deal in a place like Zamora. Zamora would be a very good place. I don't know, you're going there. We might be able to find some answers to some questions.
Why is it gotta be a seedy back alley?
Because you are an abomination. I'm Octavio. I'm sorry, did I say abomination? I did not mean that. I mean no offense by that.
I shake the box a little bit. You be nice. Octavio,
Oh,
be
why
nice.
does it? Why do I feel? Why do I feel? Oh, thank you. Do it again.
Wait, you could feel when the
I feel-
box.
I feel the
So
box.
every time we put stuff
Oh,
into.
I don't know. Try it. Try it.
Nope.
This is the first time I'm
What?
experiencing this.
Well, I just have to know because I really need to know about knowledge.
I feel something
Let's see.
around inside of me.
Put your finger in the box.
I'm looking at my finger. That's nasty. Let's see. Hey, there's a charred stick. It's about
Oh,
8 inches long.
Oh. Can you make it 9?
So I'm gonna put it in there slightly.
We've got
With a
complete
little
Open the
work
box. I put it in.
Yes,
it
yes.
accepts it.
Yes,
Octavio,
oh.
anything?
Yeah, I am both satiated from hunger and loneliness.
Now I'm taking it out.
I don't know what I feel, but I know that I like
I'm putting it back in.
it. Okay,
Putting
that is
it in further.
Okay, that is enough. That is enough. That is the threshold. That is the
So
threshold.
8 inches is the
8
threshold.
inches
Is that
is
what you're
the-
saying?
you were right. You were right all along. You were right. 9 was too much. God.
I'm just
Well,
like, really, like, do I want? I know, like the practical uses of this container are very big. There's just so many uses for being able to carry basically anything, and it only weighing as much as this box. But I don't know if I ever want to use it again.
it's
Well,
not your box.
not
It's
your
my
box.
box.
It's,
What if you put your finger with the ring on it in
No,
the
hold
box?
on. I kind of like to prefer the term our box.
I'll take my box and I'll test that
Don't worry.
one.
It didn't hurt. You can still use it as a container. I am aware of things coming in the innings and the outings of the
Do I need to
box.
give you a heads up?
Yes, please.
Okay.
That would be nice.
You're aware of
What
things
did
coming
you
in your
put
box.
in there before Rictavio showed up?
Let's see. Let me look at my notes on the satchel that I wrote down that I minimized. The orb, that's when it started glowing again.
Ah, yes. I see a white light. And then it turns yellow. I'm not sure what that's about.
I know that's
Like a very
that's
pale sun.
Not yellow's not my thing, but it is my thing apparently these days. Let's see. I've got an amulet in there.
So it started glowing after you put the orb in that we found in the cave.
Mhm.
Got my hat of guys in there. Just some black stars. I mean, I've been throwing stuff in there left and right. I mean, it's a good
I mean, if it fits,
box.
it ships. So
Exactly.
it's fine. But it's not. It's rigid, so you can't put anything. Who put the sword in theirs? Who
That
was
was me.
that? That was you. Okay, I was gonna say, like, oh
It,
man,
it
was like a
the
full
size would,
broadsword.
like kind of shrink down
Yeah.
because like as long as part of it fits in, like the rest of it. Will
Right. The
kind
rest of it will go in there.
morph
Yeah.
into
As
it.
long as it'll. You couldn't put like a toe of somebody in there and then they like all fit in there. That wouldn't work. But like if a lot of it is the same size, it's fine. It's like a mini bag of holding, but a box of holding. So. Well. As you are whisked about with the morning and the conversations with Rictavio and the fact that all of you can now speak to him through the box, and you seem to all be able to understand in your mind. You don't even have to voice the words with your mouth, but you can speak to the box, and it sounds like, even though Ani has heard it and is a little different than you organic creatures, it is communicating in a different way that the lips don't need to move, the mechanics don't need to happen. It's a mental conscious connection.
It's a subspace connection with
Subspace superhighway.
So we've
And
been side-linked, is what you're saying.
basically you all synced up on the same Wi-Fi.
So can we
are
like
Borg.
speak
Yeah.
to each other? Like, or is it only like when we're communicating with Rictavio that we can hear each other?
Well,
Octavio, can you open communications against the four of us without us speaking to you directly?
I wonder if I can. Hold on.
3 at the moment, but 4 in the future.
And you hear like this kind of like beep, like a tone happen. It's like a beep, 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 beep. So 4 tones go off, and then and that's where we'll end it for today. Because I don't want to like I want to give Tom the opportunity to jump in here because it's you heard
So
4
he can
tones.
Freak out.
So we'll see how Tom reacts to this.
Because he's
And
just gonna show up and suddenly he's gonna have voices in his head.
yeah, he's gonna have voices in his
It'll
head,
be perfect.
and we'll role play that. So I think that'll be nice. So cool.